Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Modstream. This time for a different project than you're used to. It's called Cosmonarchy, and joining me is my right-hand Cosmonarch, Veeq. What's up, dude?
Hi.
Hi. So yeah, it's official. We have indeed achieved a release on the day of what we said we were going to release it on, which is fucking incredible, to
Yeah,
be honest.
surprisingly enough.
Turns out those.
And it really seems like the game is like reasonably stable.
Yep.
So that's pretty good.
Absolutely the case seems to be, and of course that means that we get to jump into map crap and fraud craft and all that other stuff. So, I think that's quite enticing. I guess we'll say schedule some epic streams since I forgot to do my stream schedule this week. But yeah, how are you feeling now that we actually did it?
Pretty good. I can wait to see some map crafts and
Yeah,
fruit crafts or whatever that's called right now.
still listed as uh, still listed as fraud craft. I don't think we'll necessarily change that one. Oh, you're gonna have to change the ping to work with fraud monarch, the ping command for dad. So yeah, I am very happy. I'm very pleased myself. I think we definitely got somewhere with the Trello stuff. That was a big help, I think. And now it's all about the next patch. No fucking slowing down. So that's what this stream is about. We're going to be working on some stuff. Archive this card. We'll do some cleanup. And yeah. Actually, I just realized, oh, pranked. I have the old URL there. Is this... It looks like the redirect isn't actually working on some of these websites or subsites. But...
Can you show me an example?
Yeah. I was just going to I replaced this, and it just 404s me. That was for the subsite, and it also was doing it for all units. Okay, here we go. I wanted to see if these actually showed up correctly. Or the fourth tree. I guess Protoss might end up getting a fourth tree themselves, to be honest. But we will see. Because that would involve more structures and units and stuff. So. All right. So yeah. Now we can finally get into, I mean, obviously we still got bug fixes. We still even have some stability stuff to resolve. But I think we can finally start sinking our teeth into some pretty epic things. We can finally start sinking our teeth into...
You know why the redirection broke?
Wait, what? Why?
You know why it broke? Because the whatever the hosting is made some error log inside.
Oh, okay, reasonable.
Jesus Christ.
Good to know that it's just busted for no reason. I just realized I should ignore some of these files. We'll say hotloader.ini should be sufficient. All right. Anyway, yeah. I think we can finally start like actually focusing on audiovisual updates, like readability, and more conceptual stuff than worrying about constantly chasing stability fixes and bug fixes. Like, yeah, we still got some bugs, but you know, these things are resolvable. So this is Star Sovereign, grief of all gods, damage, hail doesn't follow the unit. And then I'm not going to bother noting down the Akistra core bugs because we're already aware of what's wrong with them. Icor actually did say something recently about some stuff that he did. Move that over there. Whoa, that was fucked. You testing my... Oh, okay, that still breaks. What did Icor say? Easy enough for him to fix, thankfully. So yeah. Sitting back now, one of the things that I'm feeling is I actually have no clue, like, what to do next. What is the immediate next thing to do? That's a difficult one. Could work on some content, could work on some maps, or I could work on adding some new units, I guess. But considering we're doing map crap around the corner, it doesn't necessarily make too much sense to start another map. I guess I could continue working on some of my other stuff. Could do some live castovers, could do whatever. But oh, here we go. So Heat Death was over here. Golden Souls was over here. And then I had the campaign outline over here. Okay. Feeling pretty good about that. So I definitely want to continue working on the AI, but I think as an immediate pivot, what I will do is go into, oh yeah, perfect. It unpinned literally everything this time. I think it's because it's technically a new project.
You have something specific you would want me to do, or can I just do whatever?
I think you can just do whatever, man. This is a very free-flowing stream. I'm just going to do whatever. I know that much. Structures. Pin that. W data. This would be W helper. You know what, Visual Studio? I'll give you another chance. Maybe, now that I'm pinning everything from scratch in a new project, you won't fucking destroy me. Maybe that will happen. I doubt it, but it's possible. Okay. There we go. Pinned all my stuff. Now I can go to unit ID. So we have Zerg Skithrakor. What are some unit IDs we have open? Academy and Physics Lab. I can replace Infested Command Center pretty easily. Okay, I'll do 185 for the unit and 150 for the building. Thank you, Alexander. Can you believe we have a somewhat stable version of Hydra to play? It's not even called Hydra anymore. Incredible. I am quite happy. I am very very pleased now that I can focus on some more exciting things than chasing stability and whatnot. I can focus on audio visuals, you know, improving the game's performance as well. Oh, that's something, Veeq. We could probably look into is trying to improve the unit finder and whatnot, but that's probably more tedious work that maybe we're not massively motivated to do. I don't know what you think, but I can add that to the list of bug fixes for the next patch target. Like part of this stream is actually going to figure out what we're aiming for the next patch, which is 7 days from now. So pretty good stuff, I think. I don't know, Alexander, if you'll be free in about maybe 2.5, 2 hours, 45 minutes. That's when we'll be smashing the we'll be smashing out Fraudcraft. You know, some testing, shall we say. So that'll be pretty epic. Fraudarchy, yeah. It's later today, actually. Yeah, maybe instead of Fraud Monarch, it could just be Fraud Arc. I don't know. We haven't figured out what we're doing with the fraud name. But yeah, we'll just return to the regularly scheduled programming of every Sunday, I think. That should be good. That and people have, just because we've been updating the project more recently, even before it was rebranded, people were playing the pre-release versions pretty consistently. Like Veeq and Kian were playing, Balethal was playing. So people are playing more sporadically, more often. I guess more ad hoc, but still, I think works out. I don't know why there's a giant amount of white space there. We've added the rule for that. Oh, okay, I see. I think we mostly did this in API. Unit morph. I guess that default doesn't even need to be there, but we're also doing a map crap again starting tomorrow, which is pretty epic. So I've got to add this here. Okay. So I think I've handled all of that stuff for actually producing this junk. So we have to go to building morph, and here we've got, change this over, case unit ID, Zerg, Skithrock, Scab. These all have breaks just to make sure. Yep. Oh, what's up, Lucky Luke? Well, it's not really that difficult. You just go to the, like, for example, if you go to the files at info, you can go to the complete package, which will link you to the GitLab repository, and then you can just, there should be a, yeah. Should be a download button right here. I imagine it's just this. Yeah. So it says download source code, but really it's download the whole thing. You just hit zip, and then it'll compile everything into a zip file. It'll download it, which for some reason for me is taking a little while. And then when you finish your download, you can unzip it and throw them wherever. Just make sure to follow the installation instructions for setup right here. And you should be good. So, as you can see here, I have the files in here, so I would just pull these out and throw them into some folder. Changes to the map cut format. I think I'll just make themes optional, and they'll be there for people to claim if they want to have some sort of element there. But otherwise, not really. I think the change for this one is that we have a week-long one, but that's just because it's allowing people to get back into it, and they only really need to do, like, if they finish their map in like a day or something, it doesn't really matter. But the idea is you throw right into, like, we start Monday, we end on the next Monday, and then I think future episodes or future versions of Mapcraft, unless people really like the week-long format, then we can do a week on, a week off, or whatever. That could work, but it's more. I think right now it'll be more of a one-time thing. We'll see how it goes, though. Not married to anything in particular. It's more about what people want. What do the people want? My Veeker has vanished. Oh, he's here. Speak his name, and he appears. Speak, more like Veeq. Oh yeah, I was going into config. Skithrakor. I actually have not seen the AI use the new units, which is a bit odd. The new Matroleth morphs. But I think that's just because the AI are kind of jank. So. Not a massive surprise. We'll continue to improve them over time. I think the biggest deal will be getting everything in order for like content production and stuff. Like you'll see a lot more map development streams out of me now that this has released. I can pretty much guarantee that. Okay. We've done all that. There was a golem change here, but I don't know what it was because it was fucking deleted. What the hell? I can't imagine what it was. I think it was its size got shifted, but I just rolled that into a bunch of other stuff, so I'll have to update the special bus and the release. Well, I can update the current patch later, but change log. Or like change long. Just happened to see that one. We're also going to need a weapon ID. Which I'm pretty sure is a bit easier to come by now. And 150. All right, let's take a look at the stats for Skithra Core and its text structure. That seems a bit weird. Oh, wait. Oh, I see what happened here. Okay, that's easy enough. 31.25. 50. Actually, I think we'll do this as a medium unit instead of a heavy unit. And we've got 8 sight range, that's fine. Actually, Veeq was just mentioning that the tier 3 bio units are pretty interesting conceptually. We might be able to throw them in the patch coming in a week. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be great.
Wait, what is this? So, I don't know if I actually have any more unused weapons specifically. It doesn't look like it, but I know that I have some that I just haven't cleared out. There are some fields. The Cascathalor Caustic Discharge is no longer used, from what I remember. So this is 8, cooldown of 6.5. Why is this field so fucked? Jesus. There we go. Only 3 range, huh? We'll see what it's like. I feel like this... I mean, the stats of the unit are, and the costs of the unit are a bit goofy. I think we'll shift that over. And it's using 54. Okay. $326. I was looking for the Hydra folder. It's not here anymore. Wait, I didn't actually change anything about that. What I did was I changed the cost to 25. And this cost is 75.75. That's still the same, and it's medium. I think the armor class changes actually ended up being really interesting because of the fact that you get the opportunity to have Like you basically do have the opportunity to balance buildings in a different way. Like a lot of the Zerg tech structures for the tier 1 tech structures are medium, but when you morph them, you get heavy, so you get a impact reduction, which is something you obviously don't get before. Although it's a trade-off, because if your enemy is spamming out like explosive damage dealers, then it's actually a bit of a nerf, but you get HP and armor on top of it, so it's not like a complete nerf. Yeah, I'm not even gonna try to do the Demiurge sound effect, Kian. I can't really. that unit is a real lunatic unit, but it's exactly what I wanted it to be, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, welcome, Cosmonarch Kian, Cosmonarch. Wait, I just opened Firegraft in Firegraft. That's the easiest way to get corruption, probably. You'll notice we have an EXE now. Pretty exciting. Or an icon on the EXE, rather. That's what I meant to say. So this is Skithrock Scab. And 185 is Skithrakor. Oh, what's up, gameplay suffering? I spedrun it. Didn't you see my video where it crashed to desktop? I haven't seen if it's... I don't think it's gotten an update since I've last played it, so... I could be wrong about that, though. Maybe it just automatically updated. Skithrakor should be basic attack, basic commands, and then status preset is normal unit. 150, that's fine. Now, data requirements. Current unit is... so this should actually be Skithrock Scab. Must have, yeah, whatever. And then the Skithrock Scab is, current unit is, control F. Just, yeah, we should just remove that entirely. And then Skithrakor is Mutalisk. And then Gorgrakor should be, current unit is. We get there eventually. Skithrakor. Now we just need a Mutalisk. And then we'll add entry. Skithrakor. I kind of forgot that we needed to have a button for morphing the unit. So now we can remove this. Move this over there and this over there. And then 185 can use the new command card. And then obviously I need to actually add strings for it. Oh no, I need to add strings for the button for the larva, which doesn't exist yet anyway, because obviously. Swamp Rest is a very old 1v1 map that I made. I just updated the middle of the map to be less constrained. It had a bunch of like crashed battlecruisers blocking pathing and stuff earlier. So another thing I'm going to do as a general rule from now on is, even if something is implemented in a dev build, I'm not going to, or a pre-release build, I'm not going to bother marking it as implemented until it's actually in the release build. So we have a bit better version control for public-facing content. Ideally, that will improve things. What else we got going on here? Add rules for Skithrakor and Skithrock Scab. Okay. Okay. I actually wonder what the biggest kind of weakness or whatever, or the area where this project could have the most improvement, I guess. Hey, that's appropriate, Kian. That makes sense. I guess I can DM you my fraud config if you want. I think you probably have an older version anyway, but just in case. So you just, if you throw that into your CSGO/CFG directory, so you have to go to the, you can find the local directory through Steam. It should just go in CSGO CFG, and you should be able to, in the console, type exec game mode _fraud. There you go. What is this anyway? 379. And then I guess for the Gorgrak apiary, I can actually give it the correct 380. Now in sprites. I think it's pretty telling that my first instinct after a patch is to start adding another unit. Whatever, guys. Okay, I don't want to hear it. What else do we have? Trying to compare this to the selection circle of the Mutalisk. 245. We'll see what that looks like on it. And then I need to actually get the graphic in. What's up, Patrick? How you doing, dude? Welcome to Cosmonarchy. Cosmonarchy. Emphasis on the M and not the N. I have to rename the internal names at some point. That's going to be annoying. I should be doing that more often anyway. I still have like Basilisk and Calcoleth instead of the actual names. Do I actually have... I do have the Skithrakor in here. Okay. I wonder if I also have it already imported somehow. No, I don't. Okay. So let's take a look here. So I'll just process this because I'm pretty sure I finished it. Oh yeah, I was supposed to downscale the automaton register, but I didn't find the time. Okay. Now if we go to convert in temp, should be in here. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 16. 272 frames, okay. Oh, I guess I should be importing, but whatever. Cosmonarchy is the rebrand of Hydra. It's no longer Project Hydra. You won't get ridiculous web search results when you search the project name now. And I think the name just speaks to the scale of the project now. The fact that we got all sorts of shit going down. It's pretty epic. And welcome handle. Yes, the thumbnail game is on point. That's the splash screen for when you start the game up, although it goes by very quickly on modern operating systems, obviously. Obviously, the other thing to note there is that those screenshots are going to end up being updated when we get better screenshots of the skirmishes and whatnot. So. I was actually envisioning a way to have the triad thing going that separates everything. So I'll show the thumbnail on stream for this, I guess. Go to my graphic design folder. So you can see here we have the 3 bars, right? There's slightly more data or detail in here than in the YouTube thumbnail because it's not 16 by 9 in this, it's 4 by 3. So I had to make it accept a wider array of space. But basically the idea is we've got like the idea is that we're supposed to have like Terrans in the top, Zerg in the bottom left, Protoss in the bottom right. As you can see by the screenshots, however, obviously the top one is like a mix of Terran and Protoss, and it's not even like a massively epic action shot. There's not as much going on as like in the bottom right or bottom left. And in the bottom left, while there is a dominant force of Zerg, it's also like the Hierophant is kind of attention grabbing because it's like center stage. You got Madrigals down here and stuff. And it doesn't have to be only one race, but and in some ways maybe it's even better if there's more than one race because it kind of indicates the whole team play aspect. But I still wanted like more new units being displayed. I think the only new units you see here are the Quasilisks and the Vorvalings. Whereas obviously there's like a Centaur, the whole Shadow Tech tree line practically, and vassals and idols and stuff in Simulacra in the top screenshot, and in this bottom right screenshot we have Pariah, Amaranths, Legionnaires, although they're just a recolor, some Auroras and some Gladiuses and stuff. So it's like you kind of get a different look at all of these, right? So definitely one of the other aspects that I really wanted, if I was going for massive picturesque moments, was like a screenshot on at the Ashworld tile set for Zerg, because like Char is supposed to be their homeworld or whatever, and then a space platform for Terran, which I did end up getting, and then Jungle for Protoss, or maybe some like we have a planned new tile set at some point that would be even better. But yeah, Cosmonarchy. I did think about that as well, yeah. We had a couple of different working titles. I did jokingly, but then I was actually considering the title Cosmosis because it's like psychosis, but at a cosmic scale. But obviously, like that is a bit more of a joke. However, I did think when we ship the main game version of this with our new engine and stuff, which will probably be in about a year, I did think that there's a strong chance that we could basically use these other names that I've come up with as like names for content updates. So you could have the Cosmosis content update that like maybe adds some really insane stuff, like a new race that does a specific thing with sanity or whatever. You could do something like I came up with the name Continuum. Continuum was a pretty big, interesting idea. Like, Veeq had the idea of like a procedurally generated map where people would be able to drop in and drop out, and it would basically be like almost like a MMORTS, where you have this drop in, drop out stuff. You got AI that control like AFK players maybe or something. I don't know exactly how you would do it. There's some design challenges to the idea, but like if we make that game mode like a year into development, after like a year after the release of the main game or whatever, that could be the name of the content update, and it could come with some other stuff as well. And then there was Acropolis was another game mode that I had the idea for, and then I forget what there was some other idea for a content update name that I forget what it was, but there was Continuum, there was Cosmosis, and there was something else that was not a third C. But I guess the third C can just be the main project name. Yes, the long-term plan is to use a new engine that we're developing in. We'll probably be able to have some demo within a month, actually. Like a month of actually resuming mega development on it. We obviously were crunching a bit on this project specifically. But yeah, the idea is to separate us from Brood War entirely, to eventually have our own assets for everything instead of using placeholder junk from games like Five Nations, funnily enough, and other things. So yeah, ideally we would have a bit more going on there, but for now we are stuck a bit. But that's okay. We'll get there eventually. You know what I'm saying? We got Skithritor attack. Oh yeah, this is the classic PyLO error where I have to go into my settings. PyLO. All right, now if I open it, it should work. No, it won't be. You can see a work in progress preview if you go to the campaign planning, which you have to access through the site. So if you go to files and info, there's a sites button that will then take you to campaign planning. We're still working on navigating on the site. Basically, the goal of developing the setting, like the first thing you'll notice is there are no, like the very first thing at the beginning is there are no references to the original campaigns. It's ambiguously removed timeline-wise from the original campaign, so the lore is like essentially we're using the same races because there's not really a point in calling the races something they aren't, or pretending that like this race that has a bunch of Protoss units and acts kind of like Protoss in a way is like fundamentally different than Protoss. Like there's not really a reason to rename them. You know what I mean? So instead, because we're limited mostly by art assets more than anything, the idea is to just continue working off of this foundation, but try to separate it as much as possible so that when we do have our assets, and when we, even further, when we have our own engine and we can implement basically any mechanics that we want instead of being limited to what reverse engineering we can do with Brood War. Because keep in mind, Brood War is not open source. So everything that we add, we are hooking assembly functions and injecting custom functions into the code base of the game, basically. So like we're doing it all in a very janky manner. It's never going to be massively epic. But clearing the enemy team doesn't end the round. Did you join the game? Did you make the game in the casual game mode? If you disconnect and then you open up the map from your workshop maps and hit play, there should be an option that says casual and then some other stuff. I would always pick casual and then exec the game mode. Yes, Raw Flesh, the name has changed. But yeah, to sort of follow up on Handel's question, basically the idea is that I've re-engineered a lot of the core elements of both Protoss and Zerg anyway. So you're already basically, you get like a preview of what my vision for races that might be compared to Protoss and Zerg when the original game ends up being released. Those races will have something to do with this. But I'm also planning on having like 10 races minimum, not necessarily on launch, but like my aspiration is to repeatedly add races to the game and have them all be as distinct as StarCraft races feel, which is obviously a very tall tale to tell, right? It's something that like, oh shit, that's really your expectation or your aspiration. But yeah, it's I think it's possible too. I don't think that there's too many issues with that idea. It sounds like you're. Did I send you the right file? Yeah, okay, I did. It sounds like you have MP. It's some objectives thing that I forget the name of. Hold on. I'll try my best to help you out here, homie. The idea behind the cohort is that basically there's a list of there's going to be a small subset of units. Right now it's only 3, but that will change. Well, I guess technically it's 6 per race that are shared between races. So the Aspirant, for example, is a Terran and Protoss shared unit. So both the Terrans and the Protoss will eventually be able to build the Aspirant. And both the Protoss and the Zerg will be able to build the Charlatan. And both the Zerg and the Terran will be able to build the Cohort. So you basically have some element of shared composition between the races. And the idea is that obviously each race's core composition is going to be massively distinct. But depending on how you work in these shared units, you might actually be able to see some pretty interesting changes to it. It's an idea we're exploring. Maybe it ends up not being that great because maybe it blurs the line too much. That was a complaint that was, or a concern that was raised recently. And maybe that's something that we have to figure out and mess around with. But I'm fairly confident that this is pushing the game in a nice direction where it shows that you're not afraid to blur the line and that you still have confidence in the main core thematics, shall we say, of the individual races still shining through despite the fact that you have some shared tech. Like, obviously, the Terrans are training the cohort out of a facility. The Zerg are spawning it from larvae. So the mechanics by which these races are engaging with their production hasn't changed, despite the fact that the unit is shared between them. And for Protoss, they're kind of similar to the Terran production, but obviously Protoss have tech structures instead of add-ons unlocking units. And the add-ons for Terrans obviously unlock it on a per structure basis. So while the cohort isn't actually locked behind an add-on, the other 2 units that are shared with Zerg and the other 2 units that are shared with Protoss are unlocked by add-ons. So you would have a custom way, essentially a race-specific way of accessing the production and trading the unit that still allows for the core thematic of the race, the core mechanics of the race, shall we say, the playstyle of the races, to shine through, despite the fact that technically the units are shared. And in this way, I think it's massively distinct from like just literally copy and pasting the unit between races. But yeah, I've essentially the plan is to remove infested command centers because they were never really that epic. However, I do have a planned replacement for the infestation mechanic, which is to actually make it a weapon that damages structures. And when it's probably just going to add a stack over time or whatever. And then once the stacks are above a certain point, or maybe just when the structure is below a certain HP value, at that point, the structure would become infested. So you would actually be able to use Matroleths on the front lines in order to infest any structure. And by infesting the structure, you would get access to its functionality. So if I infest a supply depot and then I infest a barracks, I can train Terran units, and they're just owned by me. That would be one example of how it's implemented. So that's like a middle ground between the feature creep of trying to add infestation, like infested versions of every single unit, and basically triplicating the number of units that the Zerg have. That's like the far end of implementing it. And then the low end is just removing it entirely. I think this is a healthy middle ground that allows essentially allows Zerg a way to like have some element of mind control type abilities, where obviously right now that's a very Protoss centric element, even though the Aegis core was added to this patch. So there is still some ways for Zerg to implement that. And then I'm not actually sure what I'm going to do for Terrans, but I do believe that there will be some units that reclaim other technology somehow. I just haven't figured out exactly what the unit will be or what it will look like or anything yet. But there's going to be a bunch of different things. There's so many different mechanics I want to play around with, not the least of which is obviously like unit ownership, like transferring ownership, stealing a unit basically. There's also the idea of, for example, throwing some elements of this is just a blind example, but moving other units. So obviously you have the Didact recall, formerly known as the Arbiter. The recall ability has been modified so that it takes a bit longer, but the idea is that it's a bit more impactful as a result. And also the fact that Didacts got a bit tankier means that they're a little bit, it's more likely that you'll be able to get recalls off before the unit is sniped. So I've increased the time it takes. That's still relative. That's a very early change anyway, so maybe that ends up getting changed back. But the main idea behind the recall is obviously it instantly moves units, and in this case, it instantly moves allies. I want to play around with some units, maybe not for the Protoss race, but in general, that move around enemy units in some way. You can kind of think of the StarCraft 2 unit concept for the Viper, which was a pretty generic unit, but one of the memorable elements of it was that it could like literally tongue pull you to its location. I don't know if I would go that far because that is kind of a toxic interaction where you have no control over it basically, and it just like pulls all of your high value targets to it instantaneously, point and click, no avoidance. So I'd probably make it more like maybe there you could imagine like a high skill Protoss, like a high tier Protoss spellcaster that like marks a target zone, and then after a short delay, the units teleport to the caster or whatever. That could be one area where you could use that for friendlies, or you could use that for enemies to like trap enemy units in there. I'm not sure exactly what it would do there. Maybe it wouldn't affect buildings at all, as an example, but there's some theoretical things to play around with. And I think the more elements you add, as long as you have reads for them that are consistent enough and able to be read easily enough, it shouldn't be impossible for you to intuit like, oh, yeah, this is what's about to happen. Like I said earlier when I was talking with Handel, the campaign story has been the premise of it is established here. You can read about it in this section of the site. Yeah, I guess I'll drop a link in the YouTube chat for people who are interested. But the idea is that I'll be making original content instead of remaking the original game or original campaigns. Oh yeah, and I was supposed to help a man out. So in console, I'm sending you a DM, Kian. I'm not sure why that would have been turned off, because it's not in the game mode. But weird. Okay, I will return momentarily. I just have to use the bathroom after all my blabbing. Is the engine a from-scratch endeavor? Yeah. So originally we were planning on using Go because of the multi-threading, but unfortunately because it's garbage collected and because it's still a rather young language, it doesn't actually have that much scripting support. So I have to update the documentation for Antikythera, but so like a lot of this stuff isn't correct anymore for the technical side of things. Instead, we'll be using C++ and we'll be using compiled DLL files for scripting, so that we still have runtime scripting and we have the ability to, like, for example, while you're in the game instance, you'll be able to make a change on a mod level or something, like change something in the game state or change something in the map, and you'll just be able to instantaneously recompile, like while you're still in the middle of the game without having to restart. So testing will be a lot easier and that sort of thing will be much better. I don't know how many of these features will actually be implemented, but like some things are non-negotiable. Like obviously we're looking for performance above everything. So sub-second launch times, below 30 ms latency if possible, using lockstep peer-to-peer. We might do server, actually. I'm not 100% sure, but right now the idea is peer-to-peer. Obviously, we kind of need to figure that out before we actually do the programming side of things. At least it would be better. And then obviously avoids file size bloat. That's like a massive goal. And then low system requirements. We want to be able to, if you can run Brood War, we want you to be able to run Antikythera games. So that's the main thing here anyway, the main idea. And then, yeah, we're sort of doing some roadmap stuff. The idea is that we'll be taking the Cosmonarchy game state and porting it over to this new engine. And in theory, we'd be able to essentially have like a Brood War-esque experience or a Cosmonarchy-esque experience within this engine, and that would be like the first test run, essentially. So while the technical stuff is not correct here, and while anything that references Go is not correct here, I will update it probably pretty soon, like before the end of this week, to have the more up-to-date technical stuff. And yeah, That's the main idea. The reason why we're going for a custom RTS or a custom engine for this particular case is because we've vetted every single RTS engine that people have referenced that we've personally found, and they all suck. The RTS plugins for UE4 also suck. Everything sucks. We want a 2D RTS. We want it to be performant, and we can't get those things. We can't get the flexible code base that we need and everything else, regardless of whether or not this stuff is open source. It's all terrible. So it's all far from what we want it to be. So we definitely need to essentially do it ourselves, which kind of sucks for us because we're mostly content devs around here. Like we just want to make stuff. We want to make a game state. We want to make new units, and we want to make campaigns, and we want to make scenarios and arcade modes and stuff. We don't want to like actually sit down and do the technical shit, and like we'll do it if we have to, which is the case here. But we don't. That's not what we're mostly passionate about. This is a means to an end, and we have to obviously be disciplined in our approach because if we end up treating this as a means to an end, we might take shortcuts or whatever, which obviously we don't want to do. Anyway, I shall return momentarily. If Veeq ends up coming back before the end or feeling like talking, you can quiz him in the chat. And yeah, BRB. You, actually.
You.
Ah, you return. What's up, homie?
I'm trying to do the kiting AI, and it's busted right now because of, and I cannot even debug because Visual Studio is really intelligent and works all the time.
Yeah, the larva issue seems to be map specific somehow, but I don't know how. Because I noticed it on Mothership, and it was just also reported on Mouth of Hell, which is an Alexander map. So we've got larva here and there. But is it more than the starting larva? Yeah, that one has more than the starting larva. This one has more than the starting. It was like this position here wasn't spawning it, the red. Yeah. What the fuck? You see this? Blue doesn't have any starting larva for some reason.
Maybe the tile.
Brown as well.
Maybe it's something specific to the tile.
They all have the same tile below them.
Yeah, and none works, right?
No.
Or I guess still does.
Yeah. I just tested these leftmost positions and they work. This is almost certainly a newer issue. Let's see if we can recreate it any other way. Brown is busted. Yeah, orange is also busted. I mean, that's not even a custom tile or anything. That's a standard tile. I will test with our hook for that function disabled.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember where it was? Was it in cast order? Oh no, it was in pathfinding.
I remember.
Which we needed because of spider mines, which broke for no reason. Yeah, it's that. Why? So something's still broken with the get active tile flag. So maybe you'll know what to fix with it. Might be some really niche binary operation or something.
I don't. Will take a while.
Well, this is pretty critical stuff, dude. Renders certain maps entirely unplayable. That seemingly at random. The fuck?
Oh, which file was it on?
Pathfinding.
Looks like it's the same thing, so I wonder why would it be broken.
Oh shit! What's up, Milestone? We should take a look at the function in assembly in case something went wrong here. Move
Yeah, it
SX.
didn't help me. It's not that after all, but
Yeah,
dumb.
they're just busted.
I don't know then. No ideas.
It's probably something to do with your casting stuff, I would imagine.
And see how.
Well, you're using this function get active tile at, which takes S32 instead of S16.
Yeah, but it was basically in buffer. It just wasn't an accurate parameter, but the actual function does the correct thing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is exactly the same thing as what the game did. As what Ida has.
Glad you like the name, Milestone Man. I think it works out pretty well. Oh.
Maybe.
I actually wonder what could be wrong here. Actually, what does this return? Oh, it is a B32, which is what result is listed as. Hmm. Definitely at a loss with that one. Yeah, this is a bit confusing. Well, I'm not sure what about that one, but apparently Veeq has done some black magic to make it work.
I read you, sir. No problem. What do you want? No problem. What do you want? I dig. No problem. Oh, is that it? I dig. Oh, is that it? Yeah, I'm going.
Black magic indeed. I don't know if I'll ever be fast enough to... Oh my god. Barely caught. Okay. Mukbang's over and stupid bullshit larva stuff is over, so that's nice. Now we get back to implementing this new unit. So we'll do core. Oh dear. It's actually a bit of an older song. It was made by Balethal a while ago. But yeah, just another way to keep track of. To know that you're playing something custom, basically. So this is 1392 and 1393. Skip through core. Shadow. Go ahead and add entries for 1394. 95, which is Skithrock, Scab, and Shadow. Close that. So how is your tactical AI work going, Veeq?
For now, it's not working, but maybe it will. We'll see. I'm debugging. Maybe it could work. I also decided to use the group system that you mentioned that Daiquiri used.
I feel like that's a really good system for the scale that we're
Yeah.
going at. Not only for performance, but I think it's also just a bit more, like, for lack of a better term, realistic.
Yeah.
To have a commander do that. So, hopefully it's you're able to make it performant.
Jesus, I always open the wrong map. So annoying.
Destroyed. You need a
Also, Hydra test.
yeah. go
Hydra
ahead.
test map is still good. Hydra test. So
Oh, well, the maps in the test repo are not called that. So. Sounds like you did not update. I'm going to make some updates to them anyway to clear out some junk. So I'll do that after I'm done with my current work. Oh, this is actually Skithrock Scab, all one word. Wait, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Now we're talking. Graphic does not turn. Not drive cloak. DF says he doesn't get that white color glitch on startup. So I guess it's a per PC thing. He's using windowed mode. Bit odd. Right, we were in the middle of the sprites DAT implementation. I'll also throw in the I guess I can't make it K. That's a bit unreasonable. Whatever. We'll leave it as like S for now, because. I guess I actually could put on some music that I know won't get me annihilated by YouTube. Oh, actually, I probably have these already set up somewhere. Unfortunately, I just lost one of my folders here because I'm. '68 seems to be the start of the animation. Kind of a pain in the ass to line these up, but it's usually a job you do once. And there's that at least. Owned. Yeah, that's just because of my script that automatically throws that at me. Let's see, moment of truth here. Hey, all my stuff appears to be here. Up there, you know, yeah. Impressive stuff. Actually. Hasn't removed any of my shit. So DF was able to recreate the color bug. He might be able to look into fixing it.
That's good.
A very small thing, but it's pretty annoying. So here's a question, Veeq. For this patch, do we do we bifurcate off into a new branch of GPTP changes? I'm thinking that if we run into some bug
Probably.
reports, that
Because then we can fix the stable branch without shipping the new
yeah,
changes.
that's what I was thinking too. So I'll make a new branch for current changes. We'll just call it the new patch branch, I guess. Or what do you want to think? What do you think?
Just
about
call
naming
it dev, maybe. Because master is like the
Yeah,
always the one that is stable and all.
I really wonder why the ion cannon is busted in the way that it is. Oh, maybe that's why. It'd be really stupid if that was the reason. Okay, reasonable. I'm getting a crash when I attack with the ion cannon. Did you change anything about the way that fields work?
No, I didn't touch them recently.
Let me make sure it's not just attacking the captains here. What is this? 49303. It's in add damage overlay, so I guess the captaincy just has a fucked thing. Fix the
Did Iquor push something? Maybe?
No, I don't think so. I think I would have noticed. Is AFK perpetually? It might just be that the captaincy doesn't have the... I don't know how I would have not seen that, though. I'm pretty sure captaincies have been killed before. Let me see if I can recreate it without the ion cannon. Oh, it is the captaincy. Oh, well, that was stupid of me. Nothing about this graphic seems incorrect. Let me see if I can recreate it on anything else. I guess maybe somehow the captaincy entry itself got fucked over, but it doesn't look like it. 1238. Do I have another pie development? I do. 1238. Yeah. Right here. It seems like it's in any damage overlay for some reason. Maybe Iquor did push something. Oh, yeah, amazing. He did. Incredible stuff. Well, I just chewed him out for that, and now I will disable it. Jesus Christ. What's this called? Damage overlay. Oh wait, that's not what I need it to be in then. It's damage. Incredible.
Jesus Christ, kiting works. This AI actually uses Mutalisk Micro now. What the fuck? Oh, okay, I guess I should actually use patrol order.
That would be better than attack. Yeah, because attack just results in them like blindly walking into an area and waiting to be attacked, usually.
Do I use AI patrol? I don't know what's the difference.
You'd probably want to use human patrol for this. But you can play around with both of them and see what looks better, or what plays better. Oh, I have to disable this in the main branch too. Is there a way to, like, how do I easily fork over a change to another branch? Can I do that from...
If you want only one commit, you cherry pick. So you right click and cherry pick and then choose a branch you want to merge it into.
Okay, thanks. I will switch over to master, build. I assume this fixes the crash. I should actually test it. Seems fine now, yeah. Goofy. I don't know what Sherm J1 Master patch is, but whatever it is, it's pretty funny. We're back here. Okay. Bon. So what do I need now? I'm looking for some changes. Oh, I was still doing the Skithra Core stuff, that's right. So for the Skithra Core, we'll do... One, two, three, four. What's up, Beaver? Glad you like the new name. Yeah, people seem to be pretty happy with the new, the rebrand.
Do you want to give this a try?
Let me finish my work here real quick.
Sure.
Doing the iScript for a new Zerg unit. So what is the point of attack? 5/5. Oops. 3. And then for idle, I guess it's... I don't know how many frame sets we actually have. It looks like up to FF. My goal with the new name was to get something that nobody had ever experienced before. Oh, 00 is a clone of the last frame set? Or... Wait, what is this? It looks like 77 and 88 are the same. At least in those frames. Yeah. I guess 88 is duplicate. I can get rid of that. Oh, 77 is also duplicate. I guess I'm not really surprised. Though I would have preferred something slightly higher quality than that one, Five Nations. At some point I'll just delete the frames later. Okay, so we're done with that, and now I need to Gorgruk Apiary. Oh man, this is another one of those iScripts where I couldn't be bothered to hit tab a few times.
Really is impressive for mutas. I don't know. I didn't test like many units just yet, but for mutas it is really. It really feels like you're actually facing a player.
I'm quite excited to check that one out. Okay, now in sprites. Oh, I don't have the new sprites file. That was a sound. For images, we have 1392 for Skithrakor and 94 for that. We'll find the Gorgrok Apiary. 566.13, 550. What was the other one? Oh, fuck. This isn't even what I wanted. 566.13. Alright, and then Mutalisk is 245. Okay. Where is the work?
It's on Kite AI branch.
Oh, jeez. Probably should have just put it into dev.
Yeah, I started working on it before it
Yeah,
got
sure.
made.
So, what are the conditions for it? It just spawns mutants?
You just fight some units in testing.
Alright. See what happens. Shit! Oh fuck! They're moving, boys! Oh shit, homie! Maverick seems a bit interesting, but they are moving. I think maybe I confused them because I was coming at them from so many different angles. That seems very strange, a little robotic, but that's fine. That's something. The real question is,
Yeah, I do wonder if I got the values right.
it's sometimes like running into the units instead of away, but it's actually pretty neat how they seem to hunt units down a bit better. I don't know what this will look like when you actually have AI running, but I guess I can find out. Although I can't in this exact build. I have to disable this fucking jump patch overlay because it's crashing stuff. Well, Kian, we're about to find out. I don't know if melee units even bother kiting.
I didn't do any special rolls yet, so they will. But I don't know how stupid that will be.
Well, eventually we'll find out, I'm sure. This AI usually gets run over because I haven't updated its build order yet. Let's see. Got a Cyclops army, dude. This guy went only Cyclops. Oh, there's some units. He's still building. My mistake. Will they kite backwards into static defense? Or against static defense? This is actually a pretty good test bed for it because it's all Zerglings. So.
Yeah, but Zerglings might be cocked. I didn't do anything.
They might be, yes. We're about to find out. They're spinning. Oh, here we go. Oh shit! The Phalanx lived. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it looks like Zerglings aren't cooked, actually.
Interesting.
Jesus Christ. The Cyclops AI is actually pretty fucking nuts. Because they keep like... I mean, they're obviously doing some... I don't know what the fuck is happening over here. They seem confused. But, you know, it is what it is. Oh. Tism? Tism? There we go. Oh! Oh, shit! 3 health! They're cowering in fear. They're scared. There we go. Figured it out. So yeah, there's still some edge cases that you'll have to work pretty hard to figure out. But this is still pretty cool. Oof.
What do you think should happen for me? Should they just ignore kiting?
I don't know what melee units should have rules for, but I know they shouldn't run away from a target, so...
Mm.
I pushed you my disabling kiting wrapper thing. Also, it seemed like cohort Cyclops in those cases were fucking around by buildings. It seems like maybe they're cucked when attacking buildings. But it's really cool to see them actually skirmish each other. So
I try kiting forward for melee.
Yeah, sure. If they're try to get a surround going. That would be ideal, probably. Why would they kite away from static defense exactly? Maybe the answer is obvious and I just can't figure it out. But...
So melee range is when the max range is smaller than half? Or...
Melee range is when max range is smaller than 32 pixels. But technically Archons and Harak... Well, I think Harakids are exactly 30 or something. But Archons have more range than that. So you might have to make some sort of cases, like unit ID checks for outliers. But the general rule is less than 32. Oh, I see what you're saying, Kian. Like, basically, if there are other units... So, yeah, so basically, like, sunken colonies are a case where, like, Zerglings that are... Or any unit that's attacking the sunken colony will be exposed to Zerglings that are coming in. And so the Zerglings would actually be the DPS in that equation most of the time. So you would want to change focus. I'm not sure if you would necessarily want to kite away in every case, but yeah, we could probably experiment with that later on. Like if the base property is a building, is an attacking building, maybe only kite away from it if that's not your actual attack target or something, or if it's the only enemy in the area, only enemy combatant. So unfortunately, for a short time in the dev build, the only thing, the only units, or the only things that will be able to use Skithra cores are AI, because they don't have the button set limitation. But, you know, that's not that big of a deal, I guess. Oh, this is fucked. I just never did this one, I guess. Let me look at Def Exemplar. Okay. And then land effect. Fix that up. Okay. So we've got that. What else do we got? Oh, I need to keep looking for Gorgrok. Find Tech Mutal and duplicate that. Tech Skithrock. Move Gorgrok apiary from this check, and then Skithrock Scab. Whoa. It's actually pretty nice, I think, that we've got, like right now, we have, if you're a swarm personality, you must go spawning pool. And if you're an assault personality, you must go Hydralisk Den. But I like the idea that if you're an air personality, you now pick between Mutalisk and Skithra Core. And in theory, I might be able to deploy additional units for like tier 1 assault and tier 1 swarm, so that you have a little bit of a more distinct stuff going on there. But we'll see what happens. Maybe I won't bother with all that shit. It really depends on how many unit IDs I free up. We will, at least in theory, have the Dark Swarm and Disruption Field unit IDs freed up sometime soon for the purpose of... like, we'll basically switch those over to work like the Cascathalor passive or the Ion Cannon passive, where it creates a field. So that'll be nice. we still have to deal with, like, we have to grapple with this weird limitation where every single unit, or every single button set needs to be tied to a unit. So if we have something like the advanced button set card for Larva, like, I actually don't know what unit we would tie that to. Maybe start location or something. Something goofy.
It's too weird that you have to link them together. I don't know why would that be a case.
Because people are dumb. Owned. Apparently the windowed mode overlay is responsible for some of those white pixels.
Wait, what?
The windowed mode overlay that pops up that says like by Xenotron or whatever that guy's name is.
I see. That's annoying.
I think he was able to improve it for the other stuff.
It's great.
You actually may not have noticed it, but the same thing was happening in the default Brood War logo. It's just that the white pixels were localized on the Starcraft logo, which maybe is like harder to notice. I have Kian. If you're still hanging around, I actually wanted to throw some unit ideas out at you for some Zerg. I can't remember if I said this on stream earlier. Veeq, when I was talking about the idea of attaching enchanter units, I think that was before we started streaming, right?
Yeah, that was before.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, if this is for anybody in the chat then, but the thought that I had recently was that because we have this attachment system going on with the Orchestra Core, I thought about an enchanting style of Zerg unit that would essentially like attach to an ally and feed them some sort of buff. Maybe it would be healing, maybe it would be lifesteal, maybe it would be like movement speed or something, I don't know. But I really like the idea of that. Yeah, no worries. I'll hold my tongue for a moment. I really like the idea of some sort of enchanter type unit that parasites itself onto the host or whatever to do that sort of thing. And obviously the unit would have to have some sort of element by itself. Like maybe it adds an attack to the unit in a way where like it can fire like
Oh, it could just fire multiple then. Yeah, that's cool.
well, I'm not even necessarily thinking fire multiple. I'm thinking like say it's like a broodless that chucks a spore, right?
Ooh.
But like it just attacks by itself. But then when it's attached to the unit, it attacks while the unit is moving. You know, like it basically turns into a turret almost. I could imagine something like that being pretty epic. Yeah, that could be interesting too. Something similar to the Solarian system. Oh yeah, let me pull my latest changes. Let's see what we got here. Nope, owned. I did not add the entries here. Hydra, Zerg, Skip, Rock. Oh, no, I did. What is the problem? It's probably called something wrong in the file name or something. Oh, it's called like Shad instead of Shadow. I guarantee you that's the problem. Just my fault for naming it the wrong thing. There we go. Owned. Close that. Sure. This is Zerg, Skithrock, Scab. And 5 will take us to Zerg, Skithrock. Oh yeah, that's much better. Holy shit. Oh! 597 does not exist. That is because this does not have the right thing in it. Easy fix. Doesn't seem to be throwing out its shadow. Which is probably something to do with my implementation of it. $1393 is Skithrock 4 shadow, that's why it's supposed to be 95. Oh, never mind, this is the wrong one. 1395, yeah. Might have something to do with it. I think I forgot to give it the proper paletting here. We're looking at Draw Funk 10. That's what I was missing, and I think the same is the same is true over here. So if we do Skithrock 4, we get the lovely duplicated frame. Owned. So that is because in config I have 54 being overwritten in data rewrite somewhere. Scathalor, I think. Yeah. Delete that. Symbiotic Morph, which attaches to a unit. That unit no longer regenerates health and instead ticks a counter up by 1 HP. Well, health regeneration only happens out of combat anyway, so I don't know that it would be massively intuitive to replace it with something else, unless the tick also didn't happen unless you were out of combat, but then it's like you wouldn't want to put the unit on the front line, which is where it would have the most effect if it's like generating broodlisks or broodlings. Brood spawn. I don't know about the trade-off of not regenerating life either. It feels like it would not really be that big of a trade-off at all, actually. So we've fixed the shadow issues and the animation. Actually, did I even set the weapon to work correctly is the question. I think so, because I copy and pasted the weapon from another entry that used the same stuff, so it should be flying follow target. Amazing that typing the ID in the text box doesn't actually show me anything. So this is skittering spores, Skithricore. And we'll add that. Oh, I was thinking like becomes a turret, like attaches to the unit and attacks the nearest enemy. Like imagine if it was a Broodlisk that like shoots the spores or whatever. It could be like a close range turret. I guess theoretically you could even attach to hostile units and it wouldn't attack the unit that it's attached to, but it would find any other target nearby. And so like you could attach it to like a command center or something. I mean, you'd still be able to just attack them independently. Like they'd become hard points almost, but that's funny to think about. Yeah, that animation needs to be cleaned up from certain angles. Also doesn't even look like unless the weapon has, it does have an X offset, which we need to get rid of. And we can do 32 launch spin instead. I don't think there would be a limit, but they would probably be kind of, I don't know what they would cost, but they wouldn't necessarily deal the most damage, and they also wouldn't, like if the main unit died, like they would be targetable by themselves, and then if the main unit died, then obviously they all die too. So, and I don't know if there would be a detach function. Maybe there would be, but I guess it doesn't matter that much. All right, so we need to clean up the animation because the frames are all offset from each other, which is classic. And then we need to clean up we need to do custom animations for like birth animation and stuff. It almost feels like it's attacking late somehow. Like maybe it should be higher up when it attacks. At 4 instead of 5. Maybe I just got the frame set wrong or something. Not sure. But theoretically, it works, and theoretically AI will also make it happen, although I haven't added express calls for Skithricore yet. Skithricore. It doesn't actually seem to be using the attack pointer, attack overlay thing. I wonder if maybe somehow I have the wrong ID there. Yeah, you wouldn't even need to like unload structures, to be honest. You would just fucking run around with those and they would just paintbrush damage across the field. I kind of like how many things that unlocks from a flexibility perspective. Oh, you know what it is I probably don't have the actual... That explains everything, doesn't it? I'm probably in the wrong branch. Oh no, I am in dev branch. That's 54. Skithricore missile pause. If it's Skithricore skittering spores. Maybe I didn't build with the dev build. It's probably still on the kiting AI build. Hey Veeq, you ready for this? The thing that's creating the white pixels is AI debug.
No.
Mm-hmm. They go away when you remove it.
I guess message knife.
I don't know about that. Yeah, that's much better. Oh, it doesn't happen to have a string apparently. I would
I
have
guess
thought
you
that
could technically remove it from public release, but I don't know.
No, I don't want to do that. Skittering. Somehow I don't have skittering spores, even though I'm pretty sure I wrote it down somewhere. 326 is the... Oh, well, that just so happened to be the same entry that I chose. That's fucking serendipitous. Yeah. That's pretty true too, right? You can have like a clown car effect with them. It might be something that he uses to draw the console, yeah. Anyway, it's improved from what DF just did, so it's not really that big of a deal. It's just like incredibly puzzling. As most things are with Brood War and Brood War plugins. Let's close that out for now. I will go ahead and push my work. Oh, of course, I forgot to add the latest AI files. I guess I can get rid of unit micro. Because we're going to do it through GPTP instead. Well, I say we, but of course I mean Veeq, because he is epic. Epic. Ooh, oh, I need to define my external definitions file now that it's a different thing. MS, utils, Cosmonarchy. That makes sense, actually. Where's my Zerg here? Zerg NGS units. Military Skithrakor. Oh, that's a classic. Kind of a dumb thing I didn't remember to do. I don't think that's the case. It would be really psychotic, but it would be appropriately psychotic, I guess. I am publishing the dev branch in the dev build. Welcome, darkened Cosmonarch. I just have some royalty-free music that I can throw in the background, yeah. Shit that's not gonna get me flagged on YouTube. I don't even really, like, I don't make money off of my YouTube channel, obviously. There's no, like, ads on it. Well, none that I put there. But the biggest issue for me is that it literally will just block the video, like, worldwide or to some small areas like Germany or whatever, depending on the junk there, so. I like that one. I like the way you think. Monsieur Darkened Fantasias. Fantasie les Darkeny. Les Baguettes. Alright, speaking of that, I have to use the bathroom again, so I'm going to go ahead and BRB a second time, which is something I don't do very often. Actually, how long? Oh, we only have 14 minutes before Fraud Craft, assuming people are here. I guess I'll sound the alarm. Hey, does Fraud Monarch work as a ping now?
It should. It always would probably because
No.
it was using find
Lie.
my name. So.
Liar.
What did you do? What? I checked it before and it was find by name, so weird.
Nope. You also have to add Nita Cookie as a void spoke. That is a good one. Golfing Twitter nutter, by the way. Yeah, there it is. He's reposted it. Well, I have sounded the fraud alarm. The fraud symbol is live. Meanwhile, I've got to bail out and let YouTube cycle through the stream and then set it up for the new event. So join us in just a few moments, in approximately 12 minutes, for for Fraud Craft, for Fraud Monarch, for Fraud Arc, perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. Fraudarchy. Fixed it. Oh, okay. Is it fraud? Is it like Frog King or something? Oh yeah, Crown's loudspeaker, even better. You know, crown rhymes with clown. I'm just saying. So we'll leave it there. Thanks everybody for hanging and joining us for this spectacularly epic initial bout of work on Cosmonarchy, the deployment of it, and all that shit. At some point, I'll have to put together some more art for like the main menu and whatnot. We'll see how that goes. And of course, I look forward to deploying some new stuff in the next patch. For now, got any bugs? Leave them, report them, obviously. Or check the Trello page or whatever. See if they're already reported. And I will catch y'all pretty soon. Bye-bye. And thanks to Veeq as well. Bye. Thanks to Kian as well. Bye. Thanks to DF as well. Bye. Thanks to the three Lethal. Bye.